Good morning, English language learners. I am Arham, and today we are on the second part of our vocabulary video lesson series rotating around the word cry. So, in the last lesson, we had looked at some synonyms for the two different meanings of cry. And you may recall we had words like squall, we had words like shriek, we had words like bellow and roar. But in today's lesson, what we'll be looking at is we will be focusing on those idioms that feature the word cry in them. So it's a good idea to have your worksheet downloaded and printed and in front of you so that you can follow. Alright, so the first idiom that we have relating to cry is to cry wolf. Now you may have heard the story of the boy who cried wolf. What happened in this story was that there was this boy, and every time he used to try and trick the villagers that there was a wolf that was coming and about to attack him, attack the sheep. He was a shepherd. And every single time the villagers used to get panicked and come rushing to the aid of the boy and realized that he was just, making a jest, or he was just lying. It was a prank. And so finally one night when there was actually a wolf, he cried, "Wolf! Wolf!" But unfortunately nobody came because they just assumed that he was, as usual, pulling their leg. And that's when he was, quite gory, but he was eaten. And so were the sheep. And the next day, then they all kind of, agreed that it's not a good idea to cry wolf. So when you cry wolf, it's basically you are lying about something, or you are, trying to deceive, or you're trying to be treacherous. For example, if you said that you went to the party, I say, "Oh, I cry wolf on that. I cry wolf on that," or "You are crying wolf." That's not true. You didn't go to the party yesterday. Okay, the second one that we have is to cry crocodile tears. Now, the interesting fact about crocodiles are that they do truly cry. Meaning of cry that we had looked at when, tears start dropping down your face. So crocodiles do have tears that come out of their eyes. But the only thing is that that's a natural mechanism to kind of clear the crocodile's eyes, to, help their eyes have or retain moisture, things like that. Scientific reasons like that. It's not because they actually are feeling sad or they're in any pain or that they're showing any emotion at all. So if someone is crying and you feel like this person is just crying for the sake of crying, or crying because, he wants to gain sympathy, or he's crying to pretend that he's crying, but he actually has some ulterior motive, he has some other agenda, you would say that, "Oh, you're just crying crocodile tears. I don't trust you. I don't believe you. Those were crocodile tears." When you cry your heart out. Okay, that's the next idiom that we have. Think about it. If you cried so much that maybe your heart just popped out, or all your, tears finished, and then blood also started to come out, whatever fluids was inside of you, and then finally after that, your heart just comes out. It's quite a non-literal sort of an idiom. It's figurative, it's metaphorical. But what that means is, because the heart is the center of emotion, right? The heart is a symbol of love, of hope, of happiness, of all that. So to just cry that out is like giving all your emotions away and just, you have nothing left in you. You're feeling so depressed. Okay, to cry over spilt milk. If you cry over spilt milk, it just means that you have cried over something that you can't do anything about. It's a good idea that, when you make mistakes, for example, the mistake in this case that they are trying to, refer you to is that you have spilt milk. Now, because it's already spilt, you cannot pick it up and put it back. You can't really unspill the milk. So instead of just crying, "Oh my God, why did I spill it? Why did I do this wrong thing? Why did I make this mistake? Why did I do this? Why did I do this?" Instead of doing all of that, you could instead, clean the milk, clean your mistake, move on, rectify, and move forward in your life. And that's what it means to cry over spilt milk. Okay, we have another one, another idiom, which is to cry like a banshee. Now, banshees are basically legendary spirits that they are kind of ghosts or witches. They're called banshees, which in legend they are supposed to haunt those houses where someone's going to die. So if you hear the wailing of a banshee in any house, if someone says, oh, I just woke up and I heard a banshee screaming or shrieking, usually superstitious people would feel very scared and they'd be like, oh my god, that means there's going to be death in our house very soon. So when you cry like a banshee, think about it, you're just crying and screaming and wailing, and you really have no control over yourself. You're in hysterics and you're just all over the place. So it's a very extreme and intense sort of cry. Cry for help. Easy. I think we all know this one. When you cry for help, you are not literally crying for help, but you are making a plea, or you're requesting for aid, you're requesting for support, you're requesting for certain guidance because you feel like you need that in order to fix whatever it is that is causing you this trouble. Okay, so to cry uncle just means that when you accept defeat. So think about it, two arm wrestlers, they're wrestling each other, they are trying to, one is trying to defeat the other, and suddenly one says, okay, I cry uncle because I know I'm going to lose, or I feel like I've already lost. So he has cried uncle, a far cry from. So a far cry from just means to be very, very different from someone or something. So for example, you could use it in a sentence, although they were twins, they were a far cry from each other in terms of their looks, which means that maybe they're fraternal twins, or they were a far cry from each other in terms of, their attire. Or we could have an alternative sentence. When Joe submitted his task, his boss said that it was a far cry from what was expected. So that could be the usage of the idiom a far cry from. All right, the last idiom for today is cry me a river. Now, it's similar to cry crocodile tears, because when you're crying crocodile tears, you actually just pretend crying, or you don't actually have real sadness or real emotion. So supposing you feel like someone is crying crocodile tears, right? Fake crying for the sake of, garnering sympathy, or getting support, or getting some sort of, a favor from someone. You could say, oh, I think you're crying crocodile tears. Or you could even accuse them of fake crying by saying, cry me a river. So it's like saying that, oh, you're being so dramatic, you're exaggerating so much that, at this rate, you might as well cry a river the way you're crying, or you're crying so much. Clearly, you're in so much of distress that you could cry a river. It's very sarcastic, it could be used in that way. But at the end of the day, it just means that you are not buying it. You're not buying that this is real crying, real emotion, and real sadness. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.